Right, shall we start?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
All right, welcome everybody. I can start, I guess, now. Welcome to the birthday celebration for negotiations. We have 4 PMs here that will be speaking today. We have, I get their names here. If I mispronounce it, please correct me. Uh, Svitlana, Chip, Adele, and Remi. And then success stories for Lee, Antonio, and Keld. I guess that's how you say his name. Welcome everybody to this program today. We're gonna be doing some exciting things, having you guys all speak, and at the end, we're gonna be doing a game by me. I'll be hosting the game. My name is Omar. I'll be moderating this program today for you guys. We have different people from around the world. As you can see, the time here 11 is in Mexico City, all the way to Mumbai. It's way at night there. Oh, midnight. You guys should be sleeping, but no, you're not because you're celebrating the birthday for this wonderful celebration here. So this is worth to stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and um okay, so we have some sponsors here as well, right? For this particular negotiations. I can go ahead and read some of them here that we have. We have quite a few here from what I see. We have, over 10. We're going from Ecuador to Lubania in Europe, Slovenia. These are PMI, Mexico as well, Lima, Chile, Republic of Dominica. We have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have also sponsors Buenos Aires, Argentina, Botswana. We have a couple in Canada, Alberta, Cameroon, Holistic Media Partners, Holistic Project Management, and also Elaine Johnson Consulting, PS, PMP, GMP, and Coach. Those are all the sponsors we have there. Looking forward to all the speakers. All right. Okay, this is what we're doing today. We're just doing the welcoming and opening now. I'm the moderator. As you can see here, Mariana will be speaking, and then also Castello or Robinson will be speaking next. And then as you can see the list here of who would be there. And at the end, we're going to be having a fun game. We're going to be picking 10 people. We have 13 here, or 12 if you don't include me, because I'm the host and I will not be participating in the game. Okay, you guys will be participating because I know the answers and I will win. Because and that's not fair. Okay, I think we're ready to have our first speakers, Mariana and Robinson. Robinson is your first name, isn't it? Okay, that should be a last name, but it's not. So go ahead.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Omar. You made me laugh. So I'm not sure I'm going to deliver a speech. Just kidding. So, as you might know, I am the founder of this educational program, and co-founder is Robinson Castillo. I'm just going to read a few words. So, as we have our first first birthday, today marks a very special milestone, our first anniversary. Wow, it's really hard to believe that just 1 year ago we started this journey. And standing here now, I'm really filled with pride, gratitude, and excitement for the future. And first, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you whether you've been with us from the very beginning or join us along the way, your contributions have been invaluable. It's your hard work, creativity, and passion that have brought us to where we are today. And together, we've built more than just this educational program. We've created a community, a shared vision, and a place where innovation thrives. So, looking back over the past year, we faced our fair share of challenges, but we've always approached them with resilience and teamwork, never losing sight of our goals. Every obstacle we've overcome has made us stronger and more adaptable and more determined to succeed. So my thanks go to, as I was mentioning, amazing team, organizing team, and thanks to all the sponsors for sharing our post, and thanks to all members of PMI chapters who engaged with us in workshops, in events. Also, I must say that your support has been vital in our growth, and I'm incredibly grateful for the trust you've placed in us. As we move forward into our second year, I have no doubt that we will continue to grow and achieve even greater things. Our vision is strong, and with all of you by our side, I know we can achieve anything. So today, let's take a moment to celebrate what we accomplished, the friendships we've made, and the impact we've had. I'm excited to see where the next year will take us, and I'm proud to be on this journey with all of you. Now, I give the mic to my dear Robinson Castillo, the co-founder of this program.
Thank you, Marsh. Yes, guys, well, Marjana said it all. So I don't know what to say. I'm going to do a brief recap. As you can see, we start with events in January. So probably you're wondering why we celebrated in October. Well, the answer is very simple. We started the inception of the program started last year, right? So we have plenty of meetings. I really don't remember how many we had before going live with our first event in January with Dr. Tony Prensa, Elaine, who is present here, and some other people that helped us, right? We have over 20 people involved in from the inception to this final meeting. The first event properly about negotiation was in March. We have a very interesting context. We named groups of people from 5 to 5 people, groups of 5 people, and we made them negotiate in 10 rooms, right? So we have around 50 people in the event, right? So well, and then we have in June the second event was for the first time we used artificial intelligence in negotiation. We included it, and it rocked because everybody loved that event. Then we switched to a different taste flavor of negotiation. We invited John Murphy to talk about and with a masterclass about body language in negotiation and how important it is. And in July, we did 2 events in July. We did another event. It was a one-to-one negotiation with our friend Enrique Manjano from Brazil and Libo, who was who played the role of the counterpart. In August, we invited our friend Andre from he's an expert in negotiation too. And then in September, we did again a one-to-one negotiation, and which was very interesting too, because we could notice and measure how much some people have already learned through this time to negotiate. And this is the idea of this program, to provide, to give the assistants something to learn how to negotiate in their day-to-day. So they are not going back home with empty hands. They go with added value. And today we're celebrating our first anniversary, right? Then the last photograph you see is our channel in YouTube, which I kindly invite you to subscribe and follow us. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
All right. I appreciate you guys, Mariana and also Robinson, for giving us some wonderful insights about the year and what happened and the wonderful things that went on with negotiations. Awesome. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At this moment, my question is, which event did you, as organizing team, enjoyed very much?
All of them.
Robinson,
All of them. They were all of them were different. You know, we have learned so much since the very beginning in March, where we had this, you know, we were very daring. We invited a lot of people. We formed them into groups in 10 rooms. So if you multiply, we have 10 rooms, and we have 10 people per room. It was around 100 people negotiating in a gamification style. And we measure the negotiation with a criteria list by by each team coach. Each team had a coach, and the coach evaluated. Of course, we find some BS, and we decide to improve in every event, right? But absolutely, I can assure you that nobody went back home with empty hands. Guys, don't feel intimidated, please. Joyce, anyone you enjoyed the most?
Well, I did like the event we had with Enrique Mariano. I never seen such analysis of negotiations, so it was amazing. And we lost Omar, if I'm mistaken. No?
I'm here.
You are here. Oh, please continue. So we lost you somehow. Go ahead.
So I want to say thank you guys for that. You had the question was a good one, and let's go on to the next slide. All right, let's see what's here. All right, so who's gonna be going over this one? Is it gonna be? We had 10 events. We had 2236 registered, over 80 countries, and almost 900 attendees in the past year. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Here are some of the teams, and somebody was gonna go over these ones. Who was it? Let me see. Yeah, you can look at the names of the wonderful people in negotiations here. And these are kind people here. Let's see. Okay, next. Here's some more people. And are they ready to start speaking now? Okay.
Yes, we had wonderful guests in our past events. Amar, you can go to the next slide. Yes.
This one?
Previous one. Yes, Dr. Tony, he's one of our greatest of the coaches that we had in our list. Elaine Jackson, who's here as well, and of course, we don't forget Joe Murphy, who had made a lively and lovely event for us. Andrew Vlog, of course, Enrique, Mariana just spoke about. And we had the elegant host as well, another similar name as Amar, Diana, Irina, and Geraldine, as well as Alexandra. And we are so grateful for you, to all of you to have, we have had in our past events. Thank you so much, Omar, for the time.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right. And are we ready to have some of our guests speak now? I'm assuming.
Yes,
Or
we'll be having success stories from Lambert, who was the founder of PMP, and then Keld Jensen, the one of the greatest of the negotiations. He has had his book published recently. Then Antonio Nieto. We'll be glad to hear all of them on our show today. Over to you, Omar. You can play the success stories, then followed by Elaine for the live success story as well. You can play the video where we can see all our guests sharing their success in terms of applying negotiations in their day-to-day business and for the other aspect of their projects, as well as you can see all the areas where they day-to-day live in. So you can play those videos so we can all hear and enjoy that. Thank you.
okay. Can you send me the video? I don't have it.
Omar, I'll play those videos. I'll play those videos. 1 second. I'll share.
Okay. So you share your screen? Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so hope you see my screen.
Yeah.
Excuse me. 1 second.
You
As,
stop sharing it.
yes.
Back share again.
Okay,
I just mentioned
share my
Lambert.
screen now.
I guess you can hear him speaking now. Thank you, Ms. L, for bringing it live. Your sound, Ms. L, you need
Sound,
to
if you can start from the beginning, please.
Yeah, we can't hear it. You need to do the share your audio.
Ms. L, the audio is not audible still.
You want to give me the link and I can share it, or you want to try?
Oh, you
It's a
mean
YouTube.
sound is not, you're not listening to
We
sound?
can't hear it. We
Oh,
cannot.
okay. Okay, give me a second, please.
Can you start from the beginning too?
Sure. 1 second. Okay, Omar, I think it's better you share. I'll share the link with you, okay?
Yes.
1 second.
Mhm.
Does this happen a lot, Omar?
Once in a
All the
while,
time,
I mean,
right? You're never
This is
should
well
happen
once in a
prepared.
while.
It's
Okay,
already
so
there.
this is the first video, right? Or the second one?
Yes, the only video you should play. The only
Okay,
one,
let me see here.
please.
Let me put it up.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, it's opening for me. This one. Okay, I think this is
Great.
the one. Okay, let me share my screen. One
Don't
moment.
forget to share the sound.
Yep, that's the important
I
part.
try.
Okay, it's set at the share the sound button, and this is the video, correct? Or the other one?
It's the video. This is the right one.
Can you guys hear it?
All right.
Hey, Mariana, Lee Lambert here, coming to you from the Peabody Hotel in Memphis. I just got in and came into my room, and I thought, well, now's a good time to let some people know about how powerful I think negotiating is. This story I told you long ago, I think you recall, when I was negotiating with someone within an organization who was at a higher position than I was. So I wasn't given much chance to be successful. But what I did was I took this idea of the three questions: what's in it for me, what's in it for you, and what's in it for the organization. And by being able to satisfy something in it for the other party, then it became negotiable. And so I just can't emphasize enough. In fact, I just wrote an email to Beta Bershad in Riyadh telling him that he needs to get this class included in their master class listing for the Global Project Management Forum. So just remember this. I've said it for as long as I can remember. You don't get what you deserve. In negotiations, you get what you negotiate. So keep that in mind. Pass that on to all your students. And oh, by the way, I heard your birthday was on Monday, and I wish you a happy belated birthday. Take care. Hope to see you soon.
Please welcome Keld Jensen.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to give a short presentation. I'm going to talk about success in negotiation, and obviously a lot of different things can define success in negotiation, but I have chosen to pick a specific real-life negotiation from one of my clients. And this negotiation is a negotiation that happened just a year ago, and it is my client negotiating with a retail chain, a buyer. Now, my client is, as you can see in the slide, is producing packaging for the food industry. And they have an existing contract with this buyer, a big retail chain in Europe that they've been working together for a long time. But what happened in this case was that the buyer of this retail chain came to my client and said, hey, do you know what? We want a price reduction of 9%. And in this case, 9%, as you can see on the screen, is obviously equal to 2,250,000 since the annual contract value is 9 million. Now, this is obviously a tough negotiation, and typically this would end up in a zero-sum negotiation, because what happens here is that my client really had three choices, right? They can either accept to reduce the price by 9%. That means they would lose 9% and the retail chain would win 9%. That's a zero-sum game. My progress is happening at your expense. They could start arguing, become combative, and not accepting that they should do that. So avoid concession. That will still be zero-sum. Or they could do as they actually chose to do, try something differently and suggest to move into partnership. So they did exactly that, and the retail chain actually accepted reopening the old contract that was 6 years old just to take a look at the variables that was negotiated back then. And the aim was to try and identify asymmetric value, what I in my world call negotiation economics, nego-economics. And what they identified in the existing contract was there was basically 6 variables that could potentially carry some value. One of them was delivery, because in the existing contract, it was stated that they should deliver at 16 different locations every second week. It was agreed in the existing contract that the warehousing was the responsibility of the supplier. Terms of payment was a line of credit of 65 days. The warranty was a 3-year warranty period on all product delivered. The lid side has been fixed for many years. It hasn't changed, whatever. And all our orders was just in time. That means it was just an email that popped in, and then they should respond based on that email. So there was no long-term planning. What they decided to do instead was trying to see, is there any alternative way that we could deal with this? And what they did was actually try and see if there was Neg4economics. And Neg4economic, very briefly, is the asymmetric value between two parties. So that is basically the difference between my value and your cost, or your value and my cost. Remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen, why do two organizations negotiate with each other? They negotiate with each other with only one purpose: to create and distribute value. I repeat, to create and distribute value. It's not a game about being smart or figuring out how can we analyze and read the counterpart and what is the body language, are they lying right now? It's really a puzzle that we need to put together to create and distribute value. So what they did in this case was they sat down and then they took a look at, is it possible to create some value here? And what they actually discovered was that first variable, if we change the lid, that will generate a savings to the supplier, but would create a cost to the buyer. I'm getting back to the solution in a second. Changing from just in time to long-term planning would again generate asymmetric value between the two parties. Reducing the warranty from 3 to 1 year would create a savings for the supplier, my client, but would generate an additional risk to the buyer. That was capitalized as well. Moving the warehouse, the responsibility from the supplier to the buyer, would actually generate an asymmetric value as well. And by changing delivery from 16 locations to 1, my client would save quite a lot of money. It will put an additional cost to the buyer, obviously. And by delivering not twice, but once every month, again, the supplier, my client, would save some money. And changing terms of payment from a line of credit from 65 days to cash at delivery, again, would create an asymmetric value. Now, here comes the almost Disney fairy tale ending. Because what happened in this case was the two parties created a mutual value, which is free money, of $4,198,000. Now, what my client said to the buyer was, you requested $2,250,000. Here you go. Here they are. Isn't that exciting? Now, the difference between the $4,198,000 and the $2,250,000, we negotiate on how to split that. So the parties sat down and then negotiated a split of that. So what actually happened in this case was that my client left this negotiation with an additional profit as well. Now, what was it that happened here? And I don't want to kill you guys with the spreadsheet, but just illustrating this very quickly, as you can see. What happened in this negotiation was that the two parties, they found all these variables, the 6 variables are just shared with you guys, and they capitalized all of them. So as you can see in the screen right now, by changing delivery from 16 locations to 1, we generate a savings to the supplier, my client, of $580,000. But we generated a cost to the buyer of $140,000 because they had internal logistical expenses they have to cover. But I think we can all agree that the mutual value, the asymmetric value, negotiation economics, is obviously the difference here, $440,000. I don't want to go through all of them, but just mentioning the next one. Delivering once a month instead of twice a month would save my client an enormous amount of $260,000, but would generate a cost to the buyer of $80,000, since again, they have to handle internal logistics. We created a mutual value, once again, that could be split between the two parties. You can just add up the math, and that was how we ended up with $4,198,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this example here can be repeated over and over again in many, many, many different negotiations where the parties can identify and capitalize that difference. That is the award-winning mathematical model I coined, called negotiation economics, Neg4economics. Let me just spend 1 second advertising my brand new book, Negotiation, The Elements of Negotiation, which has received incredibly good reviews. Everybody very article about it. And I spend a lot of time talking about 103 elements that I have identified through the study in more than 30 years, looking at 35,000 negotiations globally. What is it that separates the great negotiator from the good negotiator, and the good negotiator from the horrible negotiator? I hope this was a quick look into the potential of values in negotiation, and how you can really create success at one side without the counterpart is paying, and how both parties in reality can actually walk away being a winner in this case. Thank you so much for listening. Hope it was useful, and I hope to see you soon once again. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. First of all, congratulations for your first year anniversary. What an achievement. So I love the initiative, Negotiations for Project Managers, which is sponsored by 10 PMI chapters. So congratulations to all the PMI chapters. And thank you for inviting me to share a little bit about negotiations. I'll cover briefly just two topics, which I think are essential when we're dealing with transformation, with projects. So basically, the first one I think we need to be very, very good at is negotiations with senior leaders, with the sponsor of your project. So this is where I would say the sponsor of a project that needs a sponsor, not all the projects need a sponsor, but those who are transversal and require the involvement of several businesses and departments, the sponsor is essential, right? So we need to be able to negotiate with the sponsor first, that senior leader is actively involved, that is participating in the meeting, that is available for you when you need them, that shares about the project, becomes an ambassador. So this is all that you need to negotiate. And one recommendation, do this negotiation at the beginning of the project, right? When somebody says, listen, Antonio, can you do this big transformation for us? When they ask me that, I say, yes, for sure. I'm happy to look at this and lead this transformation. However, CEO of my company, I need you too. Your role is essential. I need to explain you why we need the sponsor in our project. And without a sponsor, we're going to fail. So this is not just negotiation. We need to be persuasive. To the point that saying without a sponsor, we better think about launching this project a bit later when their sponsor is available, right? So that's what I tell my CEO, the senior leaders, when they ask me to do a project. First thing is negotiate that there's a sponsor, an active sponsor, somebody that understands the role as well of the sponsor, and is just a big game changer. I'm sure many of you had projects without a sponsor and they're a nightmare and most likely fail, and we want to avoid that. So that's the first advice, is negotiate upwards, negotiate with the sponsor, with the senior leader, to the point of persuading them to have a sponsor for your project. The second point I want to share is negotiation with stakeholders. So this is something that I'm very passionate about as well, is stakeholders, people who are going to contribute to your project, the key stakeholders who are receiving part of the impact of your project. Imagine we're launching a new platform or a new CRM system. So that would be your customer service people, your marketing, your sales, your IT. So this is what I call the key contributors, the key stakeholders. With them is really important. Also at the beginning of the project, that we negotiate what are the expected benefits for them. One of the biggest mistakes that we do in project management with respects to benefits is that we impose them. We, as a central team, a project team, program team, with the sponsor, we say this project is going to have all these savings, all these benefits for everyone in this company. And I think that it's a wrong approach. Maybe it was the approach before. What makes a big difference is we engaging with negotiations from day one as well with stakeholders and asking, listen, you in customer service, what would you like to see with my project coming to you? What are the benefits that will make you happy? And I go to marketing, and then I go to sales, and I talk with that senior leaders who are going to be crucial because they're providing resources as well to my project, right? So instead of imposing benefits, negotiate the benefits, agree the benefits with your key stakeholders. And one of the nice thing about this is that they're going to, once you go with this negotiation approach to your key stakeholders and say, listen, Antonio, wow, nice that you come to ask. And well, for us, time to market is essential, so we can go faster. That would be great. And yeah, for sure. And the second thing that they will tell you is, how can I help you? So Antonio, how can I help you? Do you need resources from customer service to work on your project, and from sales and so on? So once you start engaging and discussing benefits with your stakeholder, negotiating things and benefits that matter to them, then you will have instant buying. So this is also something that we don't do very well. We launch projects and we get the buying later on. So, and this is really hard. So focus on negotiating benefits instead of imposing them. Negotiate them with your key stakeholders. So these are my two kind of big takeaways or giveaways for negotiations. Is focus on the sponsor, make sure that you have a sponsor, negotiate that role, persuade to have that role active, dedicated, and second, engage with your stakeholders to negotiate benefits. Don't impose them, negotiate them, agree them, and things are going to be really going much better. So that's all. I hope you like that, and congratulations again for the event, for all the participants, for the 10 PMI chapters, and just feel free to reach out through LinkedIn and follow me on LinkedIn, on my projects and company or private company, and let's keep in touch. Thank you. Hasta la vista.
All right, I think that was it on that one. You go back to you to what was Castro? You want to go back to you?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if you don't mind sharing the presentation away again, or you want me to share it, because now
there's another video, right?
No, that's all. Now it's time for Elaine to speak. Would you please share back the slide presentation? You don't mind?
Oh, okay.
Please.
Yep. One moment here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Perfect. All right. Now the next person who's going to be speaking, are we on this slide here? Okay.
Yes, Elaine Jackson.
Is it going to be Elaine now going to be speaking, or?
Yes, Elaine will be
Okay.
speaking.
Okay,
We'll
can you
hear from
remind
you,
me?
Elaine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can you remind me again how much time we have? Because I can tend to be a little long-winded, so I want to make sure I respect everybody's time.
4 minutes.
Wow.
4 minutes, yes.
About 4 minutes. Okay, so
Yes,
this is
yeah,
the segment.
Yep.
So everyone, thank you so much. I want you to relax for the next 4 minutes. I'm timing myself too here like a good Toastmaster. And I'd like to talk a little bit about negotiations, because that's why all of you are here, or those of you listening to the recording. So the question that I have for you is, have you ever been in a situation where you needed something to go your way and you lacked the skills to make it happen? You were unable to frame the conversation and you just couldn't pull it all together. Put Y in the chat, or for yes, or put an N for no. So I'd like for everyone to engage, because at the end of this whole celebration, we want to be able to take away nuggets of information. So when we take the chat, you want to be able to see what other people have shared. And this is going to help you to understand that you're not alone. Many times as project managers, we interact with others. We try to negotiate, then it doesn't work. And then sometimes we get not so happy, you know, put on our frown face. Maybe there's some bad behaviors that happen. So we're going to aim to learn some new little strategies in this next few minutes. So what do you believe hinders yourself from negotiating? Put your answers in the chat. What do you think holds you back? Are you shy? Somebody yelled at you before? Somebody insulted you and you felt, oh my God, I can never do this again. So what has happened in your past that has led you to always choke up, get to that bottleneck point where you have to negotiate? Then the person says, oh, this is a standard contract. You're like, okay, give me the pen, I'll sign. Okay, there is no such thing as a standard contract. You can take any contract and add your information. The point is, will the other person allow you to do that? And I want to make sure that you save the chat so that you can capture what everyone else is saying. So I was invited here to speak by Magiana and Robinson, and I want to thank them so much for their dedication to negotiations for project managers. This group has been going, and with no stop, and I appreciate that. The areas that are important to me that I like to speak about today is women in project management with negotiating, immigrants and so some of you are not immigrants because you're in your natural country. But here in the US, we have a lot of immigrants and there are still people flooding in from other countries. The issue with immigrants and women and minorities is all the same. You're working in environments where maybe you're maybe the only one of from your race or from your culture. And so your ability to speak up, maybe you have accents, maybe you have some concerns, and it gets in the way of you being able to speak your voice. And so I'd like to mention that negotiations, when we talk about it, right, in PMI, they say the win-win situation. Win-win sounds like, wow, you give me a piece of your cake and I'll give you a piece of my cake. Well, it doesn't always work that smoothly, and there's a lot of tension. And when you have to negotiate with someone, against what someone may have said earlier, that it's not about reading body language. A lot of it is smelling if the other person is sweating, or are their pulses, their temples pulsating? Are they looking like they're losing it? Then you feel, oh, they're showing signs of weakness. Unfortunately, I'm from New York and a martial arts background. I always look for those signals that the person is breaking down on the edges. Not that I take advantage, but then I realize I can negotiate harder and they will back down. And that probably comes from the martial arts, which, Magiana, you know all about that, right? So, okay, so negotiations is really about a win-win. How can we make sure everybody is getting something out of that? Share in the chat an experience you had with negotiations, and how maybe it didn't go as planned. Not necessarily your solution, but it didn't go well. Maybe you negotiated with your wife and she wanted to use a credit card again, or she wanted to do some other things, or maybe it's something with your kids. Negotiating happens on all platforms. So I want to quickly just go through, I did some research on negotiating in those modalities, in those areas, women, minorities, and immigrants. The research I did was the Harvard Business Review, National Women's Law Center, a resource called Project Implicit, and even the Society of Human Resource Management. It's important that when people are doing a presentation, they're just not making up stuff based on how they feel and what they think. It is that you can go to sources and see the numbers. And that's important in negotiation too, is to be able to come with numbers and stats. Some of the information I found in issues related to those groups is that many times immigrants, women, and minorities, they lack the authority. Maybe their accent is heavy, maybe they dress in their tribal clothing, and people from the particular environment may say, oh my God, you don't look like us, you don't sound like us. Well, that doesn't mean because someone does not look like you and sound like you that they don't add value. And so what happens, Mike, a lot of times with immigrants in the US, they don't speak up. Why? Because maybe, just maybe, not saying it's true, but some cases they have family here illegally. So if they raise a flag, they raise their hand, start acting aggressive and being pushed their weight around, maybe it'll bring attention to their family, somebody will do research, then the family member gets deported. So there's a lot of reasons when you see someone not fighting the fight or not, you know, you may challenge somebody and they'll back down, it's because they have something to lose on the other side. And they suffer in silence because they want to speak up. But the bigger picture is they want their kid to go to that nice school. They want their family member to stay and get their papers straight so they can stay in the country. So I know I'm hitting on some topics that may be triggering for some of you, and don't let it be triggering in a bad way, but triggered to understand when you're dealing with other project managers on your team, they may have these similar issues going on in their home, and they're not going to confront you, go toe to toe, look you in your eye, breathe on your neck, put the pressure on you because they have too much to lose. So they will take the lower paying job. They will not speak their voice. They will say yes to any offer in terms of money, because if they ask for more, they appear to be aggressive. And so these are some of the things that maybe people who are in the majority may not be thinking that it exists. It's like, why doesn't that person have any gumption? Why don't they just, you know, speak their mind? Well, sometimes speaking your mind gets you on a blacklist, and being on a blacklist in some countries is not a good thing. So I just want to just quickly go through challenges and some solutions. I have a lot here, but I'm not going to take up much more of your time. It's important that we understand that sometimes when you offer someone a job, they consider like, well, why is he asking me to do that? And why do I have to do that lowly work? Like take the minutes at the meeting. Why do I have to go and pick up the customer from the airport? Like, what am I, the janitor? The thing is, people start to get suspicious, and it may be you just thought it was a nice thing to have them do, but then now they're getting suspicious. So I have a lot of extra information. Contact me. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Elaine Jackson, and I'm listed in Massachusetts and Boston. And I will be able to share some of these reports with you if you'd like. In conclusion, some of the solutions is to be confident, to really communicate from your source of power, but know that as you're dealing with someone else, they may have issues too. You want to be able to share information, but make sure the person you're working with or you're interacting with on your team understands, hey, I have a family at home. I have to pick up my kids on time. You know, sometimes when immigrants or women do not, when we do not want to stay late, we're seen as not a team player. Well, if you have to pick up your child and the child is sitting on the sidewalk waiting, what are you going to do? You're going to walk off that job and go pick up your child, take your child to the baseball game, all of that. So there's a lot more I can share. Again, contact me for the results of my research. But I just like to close this out by saying that as a person of color, as a woman, as a person of immigrant parents, it's important to do a self-assessment on yourself. Get a coach, work on yourself, on improving your leadership skills, improving your skills as a project manager. Seek great coaches. And I wish you all the best in your careers, and wherever you go and whatever you do, just remember, wherever you go, as my husband used to say, there you are. So show up strong so that you will be remembered long after you leave. Thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for that. Wonderful words there of wisdom as always. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And let's go on here to next slide. All right. I believe our next speaker is going to be uh, Svitlana, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, guys?
Hi, Omar. I
Hello.
think that I'm going to be introducing the panel and just
Okay.
giving a little bit of a summary of everybody. Well, first of all, Elaine, I was so touched and inspired by your words there. So thank you so much for that. This topic is amazing. I'm an immigrant. I'm joining today from Canada, from Calgary. So it's really, really an honor to be here today, celebrating this 1-year anniversary of the project management negotiations team. So happy birthday, first of all. And just a couple of notes here on this amazing topic of negotiations. As project managers, I think that if we can leverage our skills in negotiation, it's going to help us resolve conflicts, secure resources, build strong relationships with the stakeholders, with our teams. So I think everybody that it's connected today, most of us are project managers. So I want to just recommend everybody to take the value out of this presentation, this amazing panel of experts. And just let me introduce them really quickly. I'm sorry I won't have enough time, but I would really love to speak about everybody on a more detailed aspect. But we're going to have today Remi Smolinski. Sorry if I didn't say that right, Remi. He's in innovation and negotiation. He's a professor and advisor founder of the Negotiation Center. He specializes in training, strategic foresight, and digital transformation. So it's really an honor, Remi, to have you with us today. We're going to have Svitlana Kalitsun, negotiation and intercultural competence trainer for lawyers. She's also a Forbes contributor and international keynote speaker. So Svitlana, I'm sorry for not saying your name right. I'm so sorry, but it's really an honor to have you with us here. We're going to have Chip Massey, co-founder of Convincing Company, former FBI special agent and negotiation expert, and the co-founder of the Convincing Company. He has over 20 years in high-stakes negotiations. So, Chip, it's amazing to have you here. Thank you. And we are also going to have Adele. I'm not sure if Adele is with us, but
no, I'm sorry, Adele can't make it.
Okay, so we will continue with the presentation. Just for everybody, I would like to recommend that you connect online with our speakers, with our panel, take advantage of their knowledge. They are all trainers, they provide services. So if you want to leverage your skills in negotiation, reach out to them, connect. And for everybody that's going to be listening to us today, just put in the chat there, what is your biggest negotiation challenge? So we can all start, thinking about how we can improve our skills and just listen to this amazing panel. So I would just like to Erandi to continue the presentation and start with the questions so we can all get the value that we're going to get from this panel. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cecilia. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining all around the world. My name is Erandi Gamage. I'm joining here from Nova Scotia in Canada. I'm a project manager from PMI Nova Scotia chapter. So, we have this is one of the key events that we have for our lineup today. So I know you all are excited to meet our panelists and listen from them and learn from them. So without any further delay, I'm moving to our panel discussion. As you all know, we have a couple of themes today for our panel discussion. So our first theme is crisis and high stakes negotiations. So you know who will be the speaker for that. So Chip, it will be you. So I'm going to ask you the first question. So you have led crisis negotiations in some of the most high stakes situations imaginable. So what are the core principles project managers can learn from those experiences when dealing with difficult negotiations?
Thank you so much, and wonderful to be here, and with all these amazing experts. It's tremendous, and congratulations on 1 year. So as a former FBI hostage negotiator, special agent, for me, the training was to be in control of your own emotions, right? That was the number one thing, that if you were in control of how and what you were pushing out into the world, like Elaine was saying, that there is so much that is given to that other person. So you are displaying your confidence. You're displaying, more importantly, your calmness. And leaders are calm. They're the ones that we expect, that when everything else is going wrong and that you've got fires everywhere, the leader is the one that is remaining in calm. And we note calmness by their demeanor, by their presence, by how they're showing up. So those things. And the other is to really focus in on the other person. And so it's amazing what happens when you can dial in to the other person to such a degree that the chaos around you fades, and that you really just see them and what they're dealing with. So whether you're a project manager, you've been given an impossible task, and there's different things we can talk about how to work that. But the idea is that you're dealing with whoever that stakeholder is, whoever the sponsor is, whoever your team member is, and you're dialing into what their concerns are, what it is that they are perhaps scared about, what is on the line for them, whether that's their reputation, whether it's the next raise, promotion, who knows what it is. But the more you dial into that other person, the better you're going to be at being able to convince that other person of what they need to do and how they need to help you. So that was the number one thing.
Yeah, thank you. And in your experience, how do you manage the emotions involved in high-stakes negotiation? Like, what advice you will give to project managers, especially handling those like emotionally charged situations?
Right. And this really goes back to the idea here is that what you want to do is label an emotion when you hear it. We were taught to, if you want to tame it, you name it. So the idea here is that you're hearing somebody and they sound perhaps dejected. You've been talking to them and maybe they're just beaten down in their work and their teams or whatever it is that, you go to that person with using empathy, using, your best listening skills, and you're reaching out again, you're pushing out to that person. Hey, I'm hearing dejection in your voice. Am I close? And the idea there is that even if you're wrong, they will help correct you. And that in of itself is a connection builder. So as you can see, mine is really about building connections, building rapport, and understanding the person to such a degree that they feel seen, heard, and understood by you, which is huge. So one way of helping that other person through this is by naming what those emotions are and helping them work through it, allowing them to talk. See, if I was, as a negotiator, if I'm talking like I am right now, which I'm, it's not my favorite thing to do, but if I'm talking, I'm losing. I want to hear from the other person. I want to hear all about them. And even if they want to yell at me, I love it. Give me all that venom, give me all your bile, I'll take it, because I'm learning about them. Everything that they share with me is something that I can use that helps build out my profile about who they are and what they might ultimately want.
Yeah, that's very insightful, Chip. And can you share us an example of a situation when you negotiate, which seems impossible to resolve, and how you turn it around?
Yeah, and this might, I don't know, how much time do we have for this right now? I just thought, I thought I might turn it to the group. Well, I had a situation where we had a violent fugitive that was on the loose. Elaine, this was in the Bronx. And what we were doing was we showed up for an early morning arrest. Guy wasn't there. All we had was a phone number. And so rarely do you want to for the FBI to call you and say, hey, by the way, we're at your house. Could you come by so we can arrest you? Usually those are low positive results. So we're very reluctant to get on the phone with somebody. However, I was there. So they said, hey, Chip, you're a negotiator. Why don't you call the guy? I said, fine. So knowing it was a low probability that I would be successful. So I dial the number and I hear the line open up. Nobody's saying hello. Okay. Now let me turn it to the group if I could. What would you guys say to that be the first thing out of your mouth that you would work and say to that person at your first statement out there? What would you say? Sorry, I put everybody on the spot here. Anyone? Okay. Well, so the first thing I said to him was, I would call him Jeff. Hey, Jeff, my name is Chip. I'm from the FBI, and I'm here to help. Right. And nobody wants to hear from the government that they're here to help. Right. Rare does that happen. But so what's the next thing? Again, it was silence. Nothing came across. Is this Tony's pizza shop? That's good, Elaine. He wasn't saying anything to me. So I had to say something else. Again, reluctant to do so. So what would you say in order to bring this guy to say something? Guys, anybody, please chime in.
I would try to ask how they're feeling, or, just say, yeah, I don't know if start by saying I'm here to help, but, I'm here to see how you're feeling, or if you want to talk to me, say something.
I would say, can I talk to you for a couple of minutes? What can you lose talking to me?
These are fantastic. And Elaine has in there, I'm here to help you through the situation, right? Right, exactly. You guys are pinpointing. The idea here is, here's what I said, and you guys would have, anything could have worked. I said to him, hey, Jeff, with all the empathy that I could muster, is how bad does your life suck right now? And the reason why I put that out there was because I knew that as a fugitive, he was having a horrendous time in his life. I mean, he was afraid of everything. His head was on full swivel. He didn't know where he could sleep. He didn't know who he could trust. He couldn't get a job. He couldn't go to an ATM. We owned that. He couldn't call his mom. We owned his phone lines. So everything was compromised for him. He lived in a state of fear. And I wanted to push out to him that I was there to help him. I was there to pull him out of this bad situation and help him through that. So again, emotions this was a difficult situation. Obviously, I had no hold over this guy, right? He was somewhere else in the city. I had no idea where he was. But eventually, working through using these techniques, we got him to step on a subway and come to us and surrender to us. But the idea for that was, again, if you can connect to your opposite party at an emotional level, it is a huge shortcut to developing a relationship with that person, because likely we're going to see that person, in another project, another situation. So that's one.
Yeah, thank you, Chip. Yeah, I know as project managers, it's so important for us to emotionally connect with the other parties, and having empathy of them. It's really important. So it's really important. It's really good to hear that from you. It's so insightful. Thank you. And yeah, we will be monitoring the chat. If something is there, we will raise that question for you. But until that, we'll move to the next theme. So the next theme is intercultural competence and accessibility in negotiation. So our next panelist is Svitlana. So Svitlana, I would like to ask you, intercultural competence is crucial in today's global project landscape, And what are the most important cultural differences that project managers should be aware when negotiating with the cross borders, like people from other countries or different cultures? What will be the project managers should understand?
Hello to everyone, and thank you for having me here. I'm very, very happy and lucky to be here with such an interesting negotiation trainers. And Chip, I loved this question of how bad does your life suck right now? It's amazing. It's a calibrated question, so I love it. And yeah, to answer this question, what are the differences? I guess all of you would actually say that there are many, but I find this ritual, I would actually call the differences like, you know, speaking rituals. And one of those rituals that I actually like to start with is the context. I mean, how much context do we put between the lines, and how directly, how truthfully are we talking? And I would actually put like two extremes on that some cultures are like super high contextual, meaning that in countries such as Japan or China, much of the communication is implicit, yeah? And it's conveyed through body language, through subtle clues, and the messages are put between the lines. It's the layered conversation. People need to listen to all the context. Whereas in low context communication cultures, such as Germany or US, it's rather truthful than diplomatic. Yeah, the communication tends to be direct and explicit, and yeah. So those are the two extremes where you put all the other countries. And right now, I mean, I'm from Ukraine, and this is a country that tends to be like in the middle of like tending more to the high context communication cultures, but I'm super direct because I learned that living in some different culture, I mean, right now I live in Austria, it just brings you a lot of difficulties if you put the messages between the lines and the others do not read it. So yeah, I would actually say that it's high and low context communication cultures, and it also depends on the people who I'm talking to. So just to summarize, if you guys are, if you don't know what to talk about and how to talk to a communication partner, I think it's better to listen to them. As Chip said, the more you talk, the more I lose, obviously. And actually adjust the communication, because it's never my communication style that decides. It's always the flexibility that I show to a counterpart.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is one of my even experience, because I'm also a diverse person. I came from Sri Lanka to Canada, and being a project manager, I know these challenges that we all have. You know, like I want to move to the next question. Like being a woman, I have that question as well. Like you know, the global statistics says that the women only negotiate 30%. 30% of women only negotiate. So is it the result of a cultural approach in many parts of the world, or like sometimes even it happens in Westerns as well? So how can a woman improve her chances to negotiate? I mean, to get empowered in a traditional and like very functional oriented company. Also, she has like very limited access to resources and maybe with the tight deadlines. So how do you think like a woman as a project manager can overcome the situation?
No, thank you. Thank you for asking that. I have two good news and one bad. Which one do you want to start with?
Good news first, please.
Say it again.
Good news first, please.
Okay, good news. Well, the studies show that the tendency to negotiate is growing amongst women. So that's the very good one. So there is a future in front of us. The bad news, to put it into a sandwich, is it's just, oh God, there are so many different layers to this situationship. Let's put it this way. And one of those I would actually put as, yeah, there are cultures that teach us in a specific way. There are boundaries. There are things that are in our head. There are, yeah, I don't know, society. There is, we taught in a specific way. We are socialized in a specific way. I'm not going to dive into that, but we then definitely need to handle more obstacles than the other genders. In my humble opinion. And just to sum up, the good news is actually that, correct me if I'm wrong, we have some women here, so please put it into the chat, but I have a feeling that if a woman is actually negotiating for someone else, not for her, but someone else, take it for her kids, her husband, her team, her project, she's going on it. And if it's getting personal, if she's like invested into that, she's going to kill it, make a killing. So I'd like to end this answer by inviting every single woman who's listening to this and maybe struggling with some different issues. Just think about that she's a lioness and she's just about to negotiate for her kids. So she's going to outperform anyways.
Oh, you're muted, Erandi. Sorry.
She's making a killing right now. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like she's a lioness.
Yeah, I think all women agree to that. I guess so, because we can see a lot of comments in the chat says 100% agreed.
Great.
Yeah, sorry. I think that's just to add something there as a woman myself. Sometimes we miss the value, our own value, right? So we are ready to fight, to negotiate for the people that we love, for our kids, husband, family, but we don't have enough confidence on our skills. And sometimes I think that's part of how we were raised or the culture, but sometimes it's difficult for women to negotiate for us, but we do it excellent for the people that we love, right? So
yeah, why not imagine to negotiate that you are negotiating for your unborn kids and just get that salary raise and whatever. So that's basically what I tell every single woman I work with. And to sum it up, I have just been leading a whole class with young entrepreneurs. It was 50-50 men and women, and half of them, both genders, said actually as a wish for the day, I want to get more self-worth. I want to be more productive. I want to be more effective. So that's an issue that we deal all over the world, I guess. But the women have this lioness picture.
Yeah, and then I'd like to talk more about like misunderstanding. So, like in your experience, what are the most common misunderstanding that can be happening in cross-cultural negotiation and communication, and like how can we avoid that? Because I experience this a lot, like especially if you're working in like a multinational companies these days, like you have to work with different kind of people and you will face different misunderstanding as like a negative results of that. So, what do you think about this? And what do you suggest to overcome this?
I would, my favorite is actually the decision-making process. I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe you just put it into the comment and then we'll take it into the next question. But actually, my favorite is the difference in decision-making process. Because in some cultures, and by culture, I mean not just a geographical culture, but sometimes a firm has the culture of long discussion rounds, many loops, many meetings, many correction loops and conversations before a decision is made. Meaning that people usually involved everyone and want to hear everyone. They will be calling, they will be making sure that everyone is actually on stake and aligns with the decision. Then the decision is made and then the implementation is very short and there should be no changes whatsoever. So right now I live in this kind of a culture. So for example, Germany, Austria, it's just like that. I mean, there will be a lot of discussions and for a person like myself, it was a big surprise. And now since, I mean, I come from Ukraine and we had those unfortunate acts that happened in the last years, a Ukrainian will be so frustrated living in, working in such a culture because they have, they have different understanding of decision-making culture because it's just some decisions are made as a best viable solution. The implementation is in place, and as long as the implementation there will be some adjustments and discussions, and it's allowed to readdress that. So just imagine that two people are working with that, or some mixing of a cultures that are in there. That's a big thing that we all need to actually agree on the rules of negotiating before we actually do that. I think that's one of the most important things, just to know what are the rules and combine.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And thank you, Svitlana. It's so insightful as well. And I'll hand over to Cecilia back again to moving into our next panelist. So Cecilia.
Yes, let me move forward. So with the next question, which is great, it's about innovation and digital transformation in negotiations. So my question is for Remi, right? Remi, you as a professor, trainer, you're a coach for students and executives, but you've also been a pioneer in blending technology and negotiations. So I wanted to ask, how do you see, these digital tools that they are a trend right now in the industry for project managers, but I think for everybody working right now, it's AI and all other, new technologies. How do you think this is going to be transforming negotiations and, for project managers itself and, who are managing complex projects?
Wow, thank you so much for this question. I hope we have 2 days to discuss it, at least. But before I answer it, congratulations to you guys. First year is very important. I hope there will be another celebration next year and in the following years. You guys seem to be a very cohesive group, and it's a pleasure and honor to share a little bit of my passion with you guys and the audience on LinkedIn and other platforms. So there's a lot of things that are happening at the moment in the digital space when it comes to tools. We've been running for about 20 years. We've been running a negotiation competition, and this has been a great playground for us to test different things in the past. And the last years have brought let's say breakthrough developments, or at least developments which I would consider as having breakthrough potential. So one of them, or the first of them, that somehow emerged about 2 years ago-ish, yes, are the autonomous bots, AI-based autonomous bots that have the capability of handling certain negotiation situations on their own, right, without human supervision. And what we typically do in the context of our competitions is we expose the participants to those tools. We let them use it thanks to our partners and supporters. In that case, it was an AI bot developed by an Australian company called Uncapped, and we somehow tried to track their performance and gain feedback. And what so that was last year. This year, the competition is running as we speak. We're right now in the third negotiation round, and this year we decided to introduce something new, which is also an emerging trend in that space. Where in terms of the autonomy is replaced by, let's say, the reasoning is kept, but the autonomy is removed from the tool, right? So which means I call it negotiation support systems, where the negotiator, him or herself, has the authority or has the power to make the decisions, or either pursue the recommendations or reject them, right? But basically, it's like a tool designed to process either internal information on the information that is obtained from the negotiation partners. So basically, this tool helps us structure our preferences, and based on the information we feed in from the negotiation process, it helps us also to elicit the preferences from our partners, or interests from our partners, and suggests as we move on through the process which questions to ask, and if the information or the answers are fed into the system, it revises the computations and offers suggestions or questions to follow-up questions to ask. So, and this is what the participants are testing right now. So we see two development streams. Yes, the first one, the original one, was the autonomy, as the AI-based autonomous bots, which are good in some instances, but not so good in others. Okay, so for example, there are interesting implementations out there that have been reported by the press and the operators of the autonomous negotiation bots, such as I said, Uncapped that we worked with, or Pactum AI that is originally from, I think, from Estonia, now based in San Francisco or somewhere in Silicon Valley. These autonomous bots are excellent when it comes to standardized negotiation processes. So my favorite example is always think about Walmart handling 10, 20, 30 parallel negotiations with egg suppliers. Yes. So before the autonomous bots, the way it used to be done was through an auction mechanism. And it was done through an auction mechanism where the suppliers would be encouraged to submit bids, and there would be one or two companies that that would advance to the next stage. Why? Because it's inefficient to negotiate with 30 suppliers at the same time about the same thing. Yeah? But the autonomous bots take away the inefficiency out of this process. They can handle hundreds, thousands of parallel negotiation processes without any problem, without any efficiency issues. So basically, the auction mechanisms in those instances are being replaced by autonomous bots who have access to past transactional data. So those bots know what were the price of eggs in the last contracts. They have access to market prices, so they know what is the price of an egg right now in the market, right? So, and based on that and the preferences that are entered by the operator, which means the intended costs or the intended prices, delivery terms, and so on, the things that Keld mentioned in his great presentation on ego economics. Based on those parameters, they seek the best possible deal while driving X parallel negotiations at the same time. Okay, so that's this is the context where negotiators replace auction mechanism with some automation and autonomy of a software solution. Whereas for less standard context, it might probably make more sense to have a support system or negotiation support system, right? Where human, let's say, teams or human negotiators are still in the driving seat, right? They are the ones who call the shots. They are the ones who decide how to structure the process. But at the same time, they have access to an objective machine, right, which comes along and suggests, or first of all, digests the information that is obtained in the process, and then suggests the next steps. So these seem to be the directions right now. I think both have their legitimacy. Both have the settings in which they work better, and weaknesses that they demonstrate at the same time. I think AI is there to stay. Yes, we can get used to it slowly. Although I must admit, in the life of a project manager, I'm not sure to what extent I would recommend using AI tools to negotiate, because you guys are mostly negotiating with internal stakeholders. Yes, and one of the main fundamental characteristics of those negotiations is that the relationship in those negotiations matter. So in such cases, unless there are efficiency reasons, strong efficiency reasons, which means you guys have, I don't know, 100 of those stakeholders that you have to negotiate with, right? Unless there are efficiency reasons that speak for it, I'd say forget about everything about what I said in the last couple of minutes and negotiate face to face.
That's amazing, Remi. Thank you for that. And it's unbelievable that our world is switching and using AI to have this critical thinking, right, in negotiations, and it's unbelievable. And I think that we can use this as a great tool, this machine, but as you say, project managers, we build relationships, we communicate, we understand by body language how other people are feeling in our team. So those are the things that cannot be replaced with AI, but I think that we need to learn how to use this tool to make our projects successful and to learn how to negotiate, to have this machine that can analyze so much data at the same time. It's amazing and it's unbelievable. Just following up on the next, on part of this question, which negotiation tools or innovations that are most underused today do you think that they are underused, and how do you think that us as project managers could start leveraging those skills and using those tools? There's so many things that we don't know, and trains on new tools. I think about AI and I think about ChatGPT, and that's the only thing I know, and that's where I Google everything. So I'm sure there are more things for us to learn. If you can maybe give us some tips on that, that would be amazing.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Great question again, which would require a lot of time to dive deeper into. But ultimately, and above all, it was quite recently I got a request to design a negotiation training for project managers. Right. So you guys, please enrich my knowledge and help me understand your pain points, so that we can help my clients remove them. But in terms of the tools, we are talking, or the AI-based sort of tool space. Yes, we are talking about a very extremely early development stages, extremely early. Yes, this market did not exist 3 years ago at all. Yes, so there were some prototypes which were sort of inspiring the interest and the fantasy of VC companies, venture capital companies, venture capital funds, which over the time they materialized into MVPs or solutions. And now when we think about the first implementations, yes, test implementations, we're talking about last year. I think the Walmart implementation was, I think, early 2023, if I remember correctly. So extremely early development stage. And it would be very surprising to me to find out that there are many companies that use either autonomous bots or a negotiation support system in their project management work. So that would be extremely surprising to me. I mean, if that happens already, then whoever is doing it is at the forefront of the technological development in project management, AI and project management. Yes. So the question is, I would kind of reverse the question and think about to what extent it makes sense, right? What is the benefit, right? What is and what are the costs of using such solutions in project management? Yes, so picking a little bit up on how on the last accord that my last answer ended, right? So what is that? What is the problem that we're trying to solve in negotiation with project management? Well, we have multiple stakeholders, and the substantive part of those negotiations is complex, and we need to structure our interests. We need to figure out what we want. We need to somehow figure out what they want. And while we are doing that, we need to be able to build a great relationship. So basically, this is how I at least started thinking about designing the training for on negotiation for project managers. How do we combine these things together? Okay. Understanding or simplification of complexity on our side. Let's say the encouragement for sharing the complexity of interest on the side of our internal stakeholders. Yeah? And above all, how do we combine these interests on our and their sides into solutions? Okay. So yes, there's some how do I say? There's some merit in applying algorithms and AI tools to simplify this complexity. So how can I make sure that what I'm hearing is or what I'm understanding is what they are saying or what they intend, right? So typically AI well-trained large language models are quite good with that. People struggle as people struggle because we hear what we want to hear and overhear what we don't want to hear, right? Very often it's one of the problems of negotiation, right? So there is some merit in reducing complexity, but there is a downside as well. There's a downside as well, and that means AI tools won't help us build great relationships. I mean, let's face it, at least not yet. Not yet. Maybe at some point down the road, they will also have the capability of doing both at the same time. So if we are there for good, as if this is not just the hit and run, and we're just like, you know, I don't know, consultants, they walk in, walk out, and never come back again, right? No, if you guys are part of a certain organization, and your value in this organization is to deliver on project management tasks over and over again, different projects, different people, then your reputation matters, then your relationship matter, yes, then your network, having a sustainable network and access to information matters, right? Your relationships with sponsors, right? That's what we've just heard. It matters, right? So, and this is trying to replace it with AI or tools. I am not so eager. I'm not sure, although I'm fascinated by innovations and technology, as I'm not sure whether I would recommend my clients, you know, to take an out-of-the-box AI solution to build relationships. Yes, relationships are built from time spent together. And the more screens are between us, the harder it is to build those relationships. So yes, there is some merit in that, despite the early stage of the market development. And the question is, what's the bang for the buck? What's more important? Yeah, so I'm thinking when you ask this question, I'm thinking that the merit lies in probably in applying negotiation support systems, yes, that assist you in your work in reducing the complexity of those interests, while leaving the relationship building bit to you guys, so that you strengthen your reputation while you're managing those complex projects.
No, that's amazing. Thank you, Remi, for that. And I think that you answer also my following up question, which is, you know, the risk. And as you were saying, what would happen if, you know, project managers rely heavily on all AI tools and we lose that focus of communication, relationships? And would you have maybe some recommendations on how, for us project managers, how we could balance and make use of this great tool, but at the same time have that balance and human judgment and critical thinking that we can provide, and I'm not sure AI would be so great at? So how can we balance that?
Right. Yes, I think balance is one of the favorite words of ChatGPT. Yes, and and delving into is another one. Yes, but anyway, yeah. Well, it's also a key to a happy life, right? So how do we strike a balance between benefits and costs of these solutions? I think. I don't have a golden remedy and a ready answer to it. Time will show and time will tell. Right now, there's research which indicates, which is somewhat contradictory. So some studies say, well, that people prefer to negotiate with bots, yes, because they are, you know, less emotional, always kind, always polite. Never lose composure. They are smart. Their intelligence, what they are built for, right? The strategic thinking is immaculate, right? They don't have bad days. Don't misinterpret things, right? So these are lots of good and important reasons, and that speak for them. And at the same time, this is not a golden remedy, because they, let's say, can help us with the substantive outcome, but not so much with the relational outcome. So the more machine in the process, the less humane the relationships become. Yes, and that's a huge risk, among while using those tools. But I guess the time will show, time will tell. There are some studies that say, well, that people actually prefer to negotiate with other people. So where is the truth? We don't know at the moment, right? We don't know at the moment. There is some contradiction in what we're seeing in research. And the question is, we are very, how do I say, at a very early stage of the development of this market. Yes, but I think the solution in terms of using AI to improve our negotiation is there to stay. It's gonna get better and better over time, and we'll have to collectively think about scenarios and set up settings in which using those solutions makes more or less sense. Yes, this will not be a universal Swiss knife, yes, which we could use in any situation. Okay, and I don't think that husbands and wives will use those tools to negotiate between each other, although sometimes probably could help.
Hopefully not.
Or maybe, I don't know, with our negotiating with our kids. So there are some certain settings, especially relationship based or relationship heavy, yeah, where it's going to take us a lot of time before we'll see AI appear in them. But there are also other settings where to conquer the complexity, yes, of the substantive, let's say, of the substantive dimension, yes, it might help.
No, that's amazing. Thank you, Remi, for that. And I think that we could be hours and hours talking about this, and it's unbelievable. I love that. So thank you so much. Thank you all the panel. I think this was the last question, and I would like to have like an open mic now for our people, our attendees, that I'm sure that everybody has a lot of questions for the panel. Just a reminder, connect, do networking, follow up with our panel. They provide training, coaching. Oh my goodness, there's so many things that we can do to leverage our skills. So don't forget to do that. And I don't know, guys, how do you want me to maybe have an open mic or just put questions on the chat so we can follow up with that?
Yeah, Cecilia, yeah, we can do very short, but we do have an activity that we have planned for everybody to go through.
Yeah, I forgot the game. Yeah.
We'll do some kind of, something fun. So basically, what's going to happen now, we're going to pick 10. How many people do we have? 13 people here, right? So 10 of you who are interested, give me your name. We're going to do like a Wheel of Fortune game, basically. We have a phrase or a quote from JFK, right? And I'm going to share my screen and then have a wheel that spins. When it spins, I'm going to call on you. You're going to give me a letter. If the letter is there, we're going to flip that particular one and you'll get a point, right? If it's not there, you lose. The next person gets to pick a letter and his name will be removed from that wheel. All right. So 10 players who are interested. The first 10 players, put your name in the chat box so I can add it on that wheel so I can share my screen here and we can get started with this game. And by the way, just to let you know, I do host a Jeopardy game called Zoompardy. I've been doing it for 5 years. And when I get back from Europe, I'm in Europe right now, I'll be doing some more episodes, some more tapings, and live shows as well. So if you like Jeopardy and trivia, you might look forward to that episode, that show. It's on YouTube. So over, I think, 3,000 subscribers or something. Yeah. So let me just put you the channel name here. Okay. So we have 1, 2. Okay. I'm trying to see how we can. Okay. Okay. Let me go back up here. I think the first name was it Svitlana Ship? Oh no, that was just a thank you, right? No, okay. Elaine was the first person who put her name there. Okay, I'll just put him on this. Let me share my screen of the wheel of names, basically. Right here. Okay, sharing my screen now. Okay, so, right. All right, can you guys see it? There it is. All right, so Elaine was the first person who put their name there. I'm going to put the other person's name. We have Is that Joyce? I'll put your name on here. Okay, I'll put a little comma or enter. Okay. Who's the next person here? Like I said, we need 10 people. Rob's name here. R-O-B. We have M-I-S-A-E-L. Perfect. Who else is missing here?
Andrea.
Andrea. Okay. I'm just trying to type them in there. That might be the best. Or I'll copy the name. That's faster. Let's see. We got that one. I'm missing one more, I think. Wait.
Brian.
I have 6 here. I need 4 more. Let's go back up here.
Brian.
Okay. So they didn't write their names that they're interested here to play.
Yes.
Right? So write your name in the chat box if you're interested. Or they're just gonna do it, I guess. We don't have it. So okay, who else is missing? We need
Brian,
4 more.
please.
Spell the name.
Brian.
Spell the name.
B-R-J-A-N. Oh, it's no, it's not J.
I.
Brian, you said?
B-R-Y-A-N.
Brian.
B-R-Y-A-N.
Like that. Yeah. Okay. Who else?
Elvira.
And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we need to have 10 because we
Okay,
have 13 people here.
Elvira. Elvira. And you missed Andrea.
Andrea, yes.
Okay. What about Chip? Is Chip here? Andre, how do you spell the name? Let's see.
A-N-D-R-E-A.
Sorry,
yeah, D-R-R-E-A.
Yeah, okay.
One,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
hour, yeah.
4, 5, 6.
You can put our great speakers, Remi,
Well, so
Svitlana,
Chip or
and Chip.
Svitlana. Okay, we'll put this is Svitlana. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Let me copy the name in here. It's easier. Okay. Is Chip still here? Chip is around,
Yeah.
right? I can't see you guys. I can only share my screen.
I have Eva. Eva.
What is it?
Eva. You know, Adam
Eva.
and Eve. Yeah, Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is the name though? Let me see. Down here.
Nona.
Let me add Chip. Okay, so these are the 10. Not
Nona.
Chip? Okay. Who do you
Eva.
want?
Eva.
How do you spell that? E-V?
Eve. E.
E. Okay. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So you guys can see that? Now I want to try to see if I can. Let's do this. I'm going to share the other one. And maybe we can do a split screen here. So we have this one. And then. Okay. So let me share this. Let me share my entire screen. And we'll do this. We're going to do a split screen here.
You can add one more.
Okay, so we have that.
Can you add one more?
One more? I think we have 10. Let me see. Yeah, give me a second here. Please. Okay. I'm gonna put this like this. Oh, okay. Let me check if you guys can see this. So you guys can see the screen, right? Okay,
Yes.
now. Okay, can you see this one as well?
Can we already guess it?
You know it.
I might have a hypothesis if it's related to negotiation.
No. That's not guess. That's guess when we have some letters there. Okay. Let me just check if we can add one more name. One more name.
Yes, Nona.
Spell the name.
N-O-N-A.
Mona, right? Okay.
N.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's start this. I believe. Let's see, how do we start this? I did it once before. I'm trying to remember. Okay, you just click on it here. Okay. Click the spin. All right. So, and then let me have the game board. I have the game board on here. So if you guys can see my phone, there's the answers here. Okay. I'm not going to show you the answers. But if you're able to do that, go ahead. Okay. I'm going to spin. And there's a button that removes the name here. Let me see. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Spin the wheel. Who's gonna be the first victim? Okay. Eve. All right, Eve. All right, we're gonna, okay, if you give me a letter. Is Eve around? Where is Eve anyway? Who is Eve? Is Eve here? Who's Eve, by the way?
Oh, she will tell you the letter. Let's wait a second. She's
Okay.
on our chat, going live. How long do we wait?
About 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Okay. 1.
Okay,
2.
3, 2, 1. Okay, she's not there.
I'll
Remove her.
say.
Okay.
Oh,
Next.
she said yes. She said yes.
She said what? 2 dates. Okay. All right. I think it's Joyce. Okay. Give me a letter, Joyce.
A.
What is it?
A.
Can you type it in? Type it. Yeah, I couldn't hear you. That's better.
A.
Oh, A. Letter A.
A for apple?
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I believe there is. Let me make sure here. Yeah. Okay, let me push it. I just push it. And it should work. Oh, it's not. Oh, it didn't work. Oh my God, let me see. It was supposed to, you push each one. Oh, dang it. Okay. Okay, maybe you know it, Rami. What is it?
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
Yes, exactly. That's
Oh.
it. You win it. So something, okay. So you push it, each one of them. It's supposed to do each one of them, but it's all automatic. So it must have been, there you go. You got it. Okay. Good job. That still counts. I'm gonna have to work on that one better. But good job. Good job. You knew it. Awesome. All right. At least it was short. We've been here for like another hour, maybe. All right. Perfect. All right. That was it. You guys enjoyed it?
Yes.
All right. Perfect.
Of course.
Anybody else has any closing remarks? We're still live, right? Okay. All right. Let's end the recording. Anybody have any closing remarks?
Yes, Mariana, I guess you have some announcements to do. What Elaine has and some other tokens. Yes.
I think that Elaine is waiting for this moment since Tuesday. She wants to announce her special offer to our audience. So you can please unmute Elaine and we will share the slide. Omar? Omar is tired.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
While we're waiting for the slide, my offer from Holistic Project Management is an opportunity for project managers to learn more about PQ. PQ is positive intelligence. Many organizations are getting on board with using positive intelligence so that you can understand your stakeholders, understand your team members. And you may be saying, well, what is it about? It really gives you an opportunity to see what is holding you back. So we talked about people who didn't negotiate well. What was the things going through your head? I can't do it. They'll never believe me. They think I'm lying. You know, all those negative thoughts that you keep saying to yourself and things that you do that stop you from being successful. Positive intelligence shows you how to break those bonds and how to do what we call PQ reps to center yourself and be in the presence of being the most positive person moving forward. So I'd like to offer a free saboteur assessment, also a free private discussion. There is a link. When you click the QR code or you click the link, it'll take you to a page where it'll give you more information. It's all free. And it's an opportunity to get more in tune with positive intelligence and maybe even bring it to your company as a way of getting your team, have a team building opportunity with your project team. So thank you so much for letting me make this offer for the birthday celebration.
Thank you, Elaine. That is very generous of you. And since you are probably aware, she is a very good company. And I guess trainings with Elaine can be very interesting. So welcome. And Omar, we do have another offer. We don't have any presenters from Gantt Pro, but we do, let's say, offer a little discount if you're interested in using this tool. Feel free to use the coupon code and get a little bit of discount. And with that, we can continue from special offers to Omar. What we have next?
Right, let's see. One more slide.
Oh, do I continue talking?
Yeah, if
So
you want.
I guess we are near the end, and I would like to invite you to follow us, to subscribe our YouTube channel. You know where to find us, and stay with us for our future events. And of course, as you all know, PMI is a platform for project managers, and we offer 2 PDUs for everyone who would like to use this for your certificates. It's a code written C2786. Those who use the codes will know it's that. So on YouTube, you can find us with at Neg4PM. And on LinkedIn, we also have a group where everyone can share something from negotiations. I like to share posts from different professionals, something that is very, how to say, of quality and of big value. So others I engage to share too. And what's next, Robinson? I think you should also say something, co-founder.
Well, I'm so I have heard so much from experts here in the field that I run out of words. But I just want to invite you to subscribe our YouTube channels, and I hope we could have another table to talk about negotiations soon. We will keeping you posted of what is coming for the next month. That's I guess that's all from my side. So thankful to all you guys, our distinguished panelists, and our sponsor here, Elaine Jackson, and of course our recent last PMI chapter, Southern Alberta, for sponsoring us. Thank you.
Omar, if you still have that cake, I believe we earned it.
The cake? Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you, everyone, and I really hope to see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate
Thank
this
you so
opportunity.
much.
And you guys have a good evening. Bye. Or good morning, too.
Bye, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Let's end the streaming now.